with Joe Harms, class of 1996. A lot of changes inside the building, and this is your first time back here since you graduated in the 90s.
Yes, it is. I'm not sure I could even find my way around here nowadays. This is the first time I've been here since I graduated.
New stadium being built right over there. What would have been like back in your day to play right here on campus, just outside the doors here?
Oh, that would have been awesome. Not having to travel over to Lincoln and get everything together, and I think it would have been really exciting. I'm excited for all of the future players that get to just have it right here. It's way more exciting when you don't have to travel for your home games.
Who were some of the coaches in your day in the mid-90s, Joe, that had an impact not only on your football life, but your life as a person? And you're a coach now yourself, not for football, but you're impacting young person's lives just like yours was likely impacted.
Yes. I'd probably have to say all of them, seeing as to how they all yelled at me. Because one way or another, I probably was talking or not doing what I was supposed to be. But, I still, Coach Shea, I run into him every once in a while, sometimes at softball fields in random places. And we talk usually before the golf tournament every year. And I see Levy once in a while. I see Coach Strife, came back, and I've talked to Carlson a few times. So, just everybody, the collective group, they form you as a person. You don't realize it till later on in your life, but, everybody has an impact.
Why did you decide to become a coach? Wrestling is a sport that you coach now, but what went into that decision?
I actually had a coach that I wrestled for, asked me to come help them, and the rest was history. I've been doing that since, this will be 28 years now. So I've been doing that for a long time, and I just love it. And now I coach my daughter's softball, and my son's on our wrestling team, so that who knows when that'll end.
You were on one of the more successful Jefferson teams that has ever happened at the school back in the fall of 1994, going all the way to the state semifinals. Joe, what do you remember about that year and some of the memories, the highs, and obviously the not getting to all the way to that state title?
That experience, that's one that you'll never forget. It was a lot of fun. Still talk to people about that. It was just such an awesome group of guys to play with. Offense, defense, extremely hard workers. That was a magical season. We had some battles, but, also the game you will never forget is the first round of the state tournament, putting the boots to Cretin-Derham Hall at home. That was awesome. And then getting to play at the Dome against Alexandria. And the result wasn't what we wanted, but it's just, those are the experiences you never forget.
That Cretin-Derham Hall team, I think, may have been overconfident heading into that game. Several other players have talked about that. But maybe it was good that Jefferson maybe had a chip on their shoulder, and boy, you really took it to them. What do you remember about that game in particular?
And I just remember from that first whistle, that first kickoff, we literally were in charge of that game the whole time. I don't think they had any clue what was coming. They couldn't produce any offense. Our offense was working. I think it shocked them, and there was zero chance we were going to let that one slip away. It was fun. They had a bunch of Division I athletes on that team, and we were able to control every aspect of the game.
Getting past Eden Prairie, at EP with all their Division I players, one of the biggest wins in school history. To do it with their coach on the sidelines. What do you remember about that game?
I remember that game was hard fought. That was a close game. I don't remember a lot of specifics of it, but I remember that was a nail biter. That was exciting. That, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just, they had some super duper talent on that team, and we were able to overcome that and stop them when we needed to, and we were able to come out on top. I mean, that was a hard fought game. And I'm not sure anybody expected us to win that game, let alone the next game. So, I mean, that was a ton of fun. That whole season was fun.
A lot of former players from that team have talked about how close that team was. Did it feel like you were that close during that run? Or is it now you look back and go, gosh, I've been a part and I've coached many teams, and yeah, for sure that team was super close.
I think it was a very close team. I think that senior group that year was, they were all unbelievably close. I mean, they all had played together for a long time. They all spent a lot of time next to each other in the trenches, on the football field, from the time they were young. I mean, it was a great group of seniors. It was a great group of guys to be around. And they were hard workers. You know, what more could you ask for? I mean, they all got after it, and if you weren't doing what you were supposed to, yeah, you would hear about it. But they, to me, that was what was so much fun about that season.
What are some of the lessons that being a Jaguar player has helped teach you that maybe you've passed on to your own kids or some of the students that and athletes that you work with?
I would, you know, one of the things we were forced to do is work hard, pay attention. We had some intense coaches. So you really didn't have an opportunity to just kind of hang around and not do anything. And if you did, you weren't going to be on the field, you know. So that was one of the things that it really instilled in me, was you just got to go get after it. You got to know what you're doing at all times. And that to me is probably one of the biggest things I took away from that, you know, is just, you got to be prepared too.